Hi folks, a year ago today I posted my very first video on this here YouTube, dipping my nervous and extremely self-conscious toe into the world of content creation. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had to learn as I went along, and I'm still learning now, and it's been a blast. Let's take a look behind the scenes. This video is the 162nd video on the channel, which works out as an average of just over 3 videos a week. In a typical week, if I have my act together, these days I'm doing between 3 and 4 a week. Mind you, I sometimes don't have my act together. I sometimes only manage 2, occasionally 1 if I'm particularly busy with work and other stuff, or if I'm away for some reason. Subscribers have grown from 0 to around 2,700 in the first year, which isn't bad at all. The run rate is between 3 and 10 a day, sometimes less, sometimes more, but as you can see, it's been pretty consistent. But as you can also see from the chart, there was a massive spike around late October, which was all down to 1 video, which we will talk about more later on. Views for the full year are at around 134,000 and watch hours are at 12,300, which is quite a bit more than the 4,000 YouTube requires in a given year to monetize the channel. Those might sound like big numbers, but it's all relative. I know of one more established channel who regularly blows those numbers away in a single month, so I'm still very much in the foothills of the YouTube mountain range. October was the last time I did one of these updates, and at the time I mused about what I wanted to achieve on the channel in the coming months. I said, I think, that I wanted to do more on space opera as a subgenre, and I said that I would do a library tour and that I would declare an all-time top 10 science fiction book list, and that I wanted book hauls to become less dominant in their share of the views on my channel. So let's see how I got on. At number 10 is a look at 1980s space opera. It's a fairly recent video from back in February. And at number 9 is that library tour, so I can check both those boxes. And at number 8 is an older video from last August looking at some common science fiction tropes or themes. There were a bunch, I think 30 book recommendations in that video. At number 7 is an older book haul, also from August, which, like the previous video, continues to get some traffic on a daily basis even now. And at number 6 is another space opera video, this time focused on the 1990s from just a few weeks back. At number 5 is the Barsoom video, which got some good traction for a few days and then tailed off. I did enjoy putting that one together, and the cover art in that one is fantastic. At number 4 is that all-time top 10, the science fiction books that I've most enjoyed reading, and I'll do an update to that list at some point, probably not this year. I think it's good to let that kind of thing brew, to ferment for a while. I'm not sure, we'll see. Maybe I will do one later this year. At number 3 and at number 2 are space opera videos covering the 1950s and 1960s respectively. I think the 1960s one was popular as it involved a Perry Rodan book, and it turns out that Perry Rodan fans are legion on YouTube. I might well tap into that again at some point, but I need to read a few first. Top of the heap by a substantial margin is another space opera video focused on the 1930s and 40s, and this video is the closest that I've ever had to something blowing up YouTube, and it was very exciting at the time. 1,000 of my 2,700 subscribers, 2,000 of my 12,500 watch hours, and as you saw, over 40,000 of my 134,000 lifetime views are down to that one video. The observant among you will have spotted that the space opera videos do pretty well, and that there's only 1 book haul in the top 10, which compares very favourably to last time around when I think 7 out of the top 10 were haul videos. I still do haul videos, several of them, and I enjoy doing them, but I'm really pleased to see the other content come to the fore. So let's talk about that big space opera video. It was quite a rush seeing it get pushed out to more and more people, the views and the subscribers growing with each passing day. It was both a blessing and a curse. It was a YouTube sugar high. It felt great at the time, but left me feeling unsatisfied afterwards in many ways. I became obsessed over the channel stats, checking them multiple times a day. I couldn't for the life of me work out what made that video go bananas compared to the others. Yes, it's nostalgic content, but so were some of the other videos I've done since, and none of them went that crazy. That they didn't was a source of considerable frustration for me as I strived to replicate that success, to weave the rainbow again. And it actually took a couple of months for that feeling to die down, and I now think it was blind luck or the whim of the algorithm, and it's pointless for me to try to have lightning strike twice. It might happen, of course, and I'll probably still have no idea why. We can but hope. On the plus side, that video did take me over the requirement for monetization, which for YouTube at the moment is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the preceding year. And that's a goal for many YouTubers as they start out. We will talk about the dollars, more on that later. Back in January, I introduced a weekly update video, a kind of science fiction diary, if you will. I borrowed the idea from another booktuber, much more established than me. That's Mike at Mike's Book Reviews. I wasn't sure if I'd keep doing it or whether even anyone would watch it, but it is now an established part of my channel calendar. It's mostly watched by existing viewers or subscribers, but I do get a handful of new subscribers from it most weeks. I enjoy doing it, although it is a bit of a scramble to get it out every Friday. I think it will continue to develop. I'll find new things to include on an ongoing basis, and maybe some items will fall off the weekly roster, we shall see. So let's talk about community. It's a rather grand term perhaps, but I think community is what it is. Aside from the actual reading, my greatest joy from my first year on YouTube has been in the interactions that I've had with viewers on this channel, regular or otherwise, and also with other booktubers from whom I've learned a lot in the past year. I've met a few of them in person, and I've met a few viewers too, which was really lovely. I enjoy reading the comments, particularly when a few people get a conversation going, and I feel very fortunate, and it means a lot to me. Thank you to all of you that watch and leave helpful and positive comments. I really appreciate it. In the last few months, I've been even more fortunate to have been sent a few books by viewers, dare I say fans of the channel, which really blows my mind every time. A special thank you to those folks. You know who you are. Right, so what can you expect in the coming months? What am I aiming for? I'm, as I said right at the very beginning in my first video or two, I'm no student of the genre. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of the authors or of the books. And I don't have decades of broad science fiction reading behind me either. I know what I know and I like what I like, but I hope I'm learning all the time. I've read quite a bit in the last year, much more than I typically would, and I'm beginning to make connections in my reading. I feel better able to compare and contrast styles and narrative, and I'm learning about and reading authors new to me, famous or otherwise, all the time. I see it as a sign of my growing confidence as a reader and as a content creator if I can add a bit more personal experience to my videos in the year ahead. I need a bit less desk research. That will come, I think, as I consume more and more science fiction books. I'd like to see more of my videos hit the 1,000 view mark, something that happens sporadically at the moment. It would be a sign of the channel improving its reach, which in turn would be a sign that my videos are more interesting for more people. From the sublime then to the ridiculous, in future I'll be adding an element of chance, some light jeopardy, if you will, to my TBR choices. And you'll find out more about that next week when I pick May's reading. I'll probably do another library tour later this year. There's a lot more books in it now than there were last October. And in general, I want to continue to improve my video content, have better ideas, better execution, and just better all-up content. If I look back to my first few videos, I think I've come a long way. And hopefully those of you that have been around since the early days would agree with that. And actually, you can help me out. Is there anything that you'd especially like to see on the channel? Is there an area you'd like to see me focus on, a type of video that you'd like to see or see more of? And if you have ideas or wish I'd do less of something, then do let me know. I'll be interested to hear what you think. A slightly random section next. You might be interested to know what I use to produce my videos. I sometimes get questions. The camera I use is nothing particularly special. It's just my phone, a Samsung Galaxy S23, which is an upgrade to the S21 that I started with a year ago. And it's better because it records in 4K ultra high definition, which looks better on big screen TVs, which I was surprised to find quite a few folks watch YouTube on. I suppose I wouldn't mind getting a better video camera, but I'm in no rush for that, and I'm not sure really how much difference it would make anyway. As they say in this game, half of video is audio, and I'm on my fourth microphone now since I started the channel. When I first loaded videos, I was just using the built-in mic on my phone, and the sound on those videos is atrocious. You can barely hear it, and it's very far away. And I quickly switched to a cheap clip-on lav mic, which was tinny and prone to rustling, but still an improvement on the built-in mic. After a month or two of rustling about with that, I bought a directional cold shoe mic that clips onto the phone mount of my tripod, and this was much better, and I stuck with that for quite a while. And I still use it actually when I'm moving around or if I'm filming outside. My current mic, the one I use for most of my videos, the one I'm using now, is the best yet. I don't see me needing to upgrade from this one. It's a Shure MV7, which is a USB version of a professional broadcast quality studio mic, the kind which needs a preamp or a sound desk to use properly. The MV7 is much more straightforward. It just plugs directly into my phone, no mucking about. And the sound, I think, is excellent, in my humble opinion. I started out with zero lighting. I just used the regular ceiling lights in my office come studio and daylight if there was any. The lighting was all over the place. I bought a little light, but it made very little difference. It's not the be-all and end-all, but lighting can help with visual appeal, which is important in a video medium after all. And God knows I need all the help that I can get. Back in January, I invested 30 quid in a set of 2 coloured backlights and another 30 quid on a main light and a fill light, a combination, I think, which has dramatically improved the lighting on my videos. For editing software, I use Cyberlink Power Director version 21. It's not top-end editing software by any means, but then I'm not a top-end editor either, so we're a perfect match. I mostly use it just to cut out mistakes or ums and ers, that kind of thing, and to add images, titles and the like to the videos. And I think that's it from an equipment point of view, but let me know if you have any questions. Some of you may be curious to know, what did YouTube pay me in the last year? I reached the monetization threshold on the 1st of November last year, a little over 6 months after starting the channel. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about with monetization, YouTube serves, as you'll have noticed, serves adverts when you're watching a video, and once you reach a certain threshold, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, then they share some of that ad revenue, fractions of a penny per view, with the content creator. So I reached that monetization threshold on the 1st of November last year, a little over 6 months after starting the channel, and I was helped massively by that big space opera video, which took me over the threshold and powered on for a few weeks after that. In November, I made £96.70, the vast majority of which was from that one video. And with the views from that video dropping off, and with December being a quieter month in general, the ad revenue was a lot less. It went down to £31.35. And in January, it was a very similar amount, actually, and February was £35.86. And in March, there were some videos with moderately high views, which meant that the revenue number was up to £46.50. And in April so far, with a week or so to go, we're about £30. In total, that comes to around £270 or about $350, which is hardly life-changing amounts of money. So sadly, I won't be giving up the day job anytime soon. Mind you, at the last channel update at the 6-month mark, I said I would be delighted if I could scrape together enough to buy a book or two every now and again. And on that basis, I'm a very happy camper. I often justify a book or some channel-related purchase with the fact that YouTube revenue partly offsets the cost, but we won't talk about how often I do that. It's been a blast, and I'm really looking forward to year 2. So to all of you, regular viewers, new folks, thank you again. Frankly, I'm amazed that anyone watches at all. And to my fellow booktubers, Richard, Ira, Kenny, Matt, Steve, Moid, Whitney, and people I'm sure I've forgotten, keep on trucking. I really value your content and your support. Thank you, as always, for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.